Let's start off in a plank position for this series. So we're going to have our shoulders stacked directly on top of our wrists. We're going to squeeze the glutes. And we're just doing some nice, gentle, slow movements here, driving the knee towards the elbow. So we're rounding the upper back a little bit and squeezing the core to make that happen. It can be helpful to connect your exhale to the movement here. And let's go back into a downward dog position, sending your hips back, reaching your heels towards the ground. Couple of breaths here. And shift back into your plank position. You can take a wider stance here, and then we're going to do shoulder taps. So I'm actually doing heart taps because I didn't want to get ferns and dirty stuff all over my jacket, but you're welcome to actually tap your opposite shoulder. The idea here is you want to keep your hips as still as possible and not shift side to side. And then we're kind of doing the same thing here, but we're just adding a challenge by moving the leg out to the side. So you can tap your toe a foot or two out to the side, keeping your hips level, not letting them dip down either. All right, so come on up. A little bit of a stretch here. Let's just relax the neck, relax the shoulders, and then round up to standing. Of course, you gotta fix the clothes, fix the jacket. And then for here, we're gonna do a standing series. So we're gonna do nice gentle kicks forward. And as much as I'm kicking with my kicking leg, a lot of the work here is being done by the standing leg. So I'm rooting really strongly through the arch of my foot, and I'm squeezing the outer part of my hip really strongly to maintain balance here. And these are all just options. If one of these does not feel great, then just come back to the one before it or try something else. It's all about just challenging the standing balance. So my right hip here, or the left side of the screen, is what's doing all the work here. Some fun balancing poses here, but really it's about challenging that standing strength. And hey, sometimes you fall out of it and you come right back to it. No big deal. And so let's move into the other side here. It can be helpful to shake things out between sides. And then find that nice grounding through your foot. So you want to imagine your foot's a tripod, and you've got some nice grounding between your heel, the ball of your foot, and the outermost ball of your foot. And we're just moving through a little bit of range of motion for the hip here, and just working on balance of the standing leg. Make sure you're breathing here. We don't want to hold the breath. And then it's a little bit harder to do this with shoes, but if you can grab onto the outside of your foot, here's an option to come on up to hold a standing balance. And you want to hold the outside of the shoe. If you try to reach around from the inside, that's going to dump your shoulder into internal rotation, and that's not going to feel great. So if you are going to do that option, grab the outside of the shoe. All right, so your standing leg is a little bit bent here, and we're just working on some balance and some activation here, basically. So, I fall all the time when I do this one, no big deal. And then here we're doing standing legs, same thing. So we're just trying to keep the hips as still as possible while challenging the balance. And then we're going to move on to the other side. So bend the standing leg here. And you're not going to be able to bend too far. At some point, you're going to have a limitation of your ankle mobility. But just bend a little bit so that, we're getting a little bit of work of the quad here, and then we're just working to challenge the balance. Moving into standing leg here. And this one may feel a little bit easier on one side of the body than the other side. We all tend to have glute or hip imbalances. And you don't need to change position here. I'm just getting into the frame of the camera so that you can see what we're doing a little better. The most important thing here is to connect the movement to your breath. So it doesn't matter how fast or how slow you're doing this one, as long as you feel like it's a smooth movement and as long as you're breathing evenly through it. Great, so let's do the same thing on the other side. And then we're coming into like an airplane or warrior three, and then coming up to a standing pose. Warrior three, and come up to standing. So every time you come up to standing, you're really squeezing the glute of that standing leg to maintain that balance at the top. Good, keep going, we're almost done with this side. All right. Let's get some ankle rolls going here, just one side and then the other, just to kind of get some blood flow back into that foot after it's been in that standing pose and working really hard. Shake your wrists out, shake your ankles out. Do whatever you need to do. Grab a drink of water, fix your clothes, fix your hair, and then let's walk back out until we're in a plank position here. And again, just we're doing the same thing we were doing before in terms of bringing the knee towards the elbow. But then we're going to extend the leg back out, reach for the sky. So exhale, and then inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, knee to elbow, and inhale, reach for the sky. You get the idea here. We're not going to do too many of these, just to get a little bit of movement. Same thing, other side. Inhale, reach for the sky, send your hips back. Exhale, knee to elbow. Cool, we're done on that side. So send your hips back, feel a stretch through the back of your legs in downward dog. And then we'll walk our legs up towards our hands. Gotta brush off those ferns again, and then let's do a little stretch here. Just relax the shoulders, relax the neck. And roll back up to standing. Couple of shoulder circles as we transition to the next pose here. So this one's going to be back knee on the ground and then reach for the sky. So obviously you're welcome to put something soft under your knee if that's not a comfortable position. You want to feel a stretch through the top of your quad, top of your thigh here. And this one, you can't really see what my legs are doing on the video. Well, let's just keep going with the stretch here. So we're coming up into a standing lunge. So my back leg is fairly straight. There we go. Now we got the leg straight. And then we're coming into a twist here. So if your elbow easily hooks on your knee, that's great. If not, you can kind of scoot it around and help it get there. Most important thing is to make sure that front knee is aligned over your front ankle and it's not dumping inwards. Couple of breaths here. I'm showing some options a moment ago about what you could do with your arms. You're welcome to straighten out that arm that's crossed over your knee and open up, or you can stay in the twist. And moving on to the other side. As you take your step back, put your knee on the ground and reach up. You should feel a belly stretch and a top of the thigh stretch here. Enjoy those nice inhales and exhales as you come up into a standing lunge. On your exhale, you're going to bring your opposite elbow across towards your knee. Make sure your knee hasn't caved inwards as you've finagled your way into that. And then let's open up into that twist or stay here with our palms pressed together. We're still rooting a lot of energy back out through that back heel. So the back leg is not just getting lazy here, it's working just as hard as the front. Good, come back up to standing. Very nice. On this run, we're going to take a nice wide step. Some people are going to want a really wide step, but it's not necessary. You just want to feel that it's comfortable for your hip, so that might not look like what your friend is doing. And we're just working with a squat here. So you see me shifting my stance. I'm trying to get it just right. My knee hurts if I do it this way. My hip hurts if I do it that way, but found my spot. This feels great. Okay, so we're kind of connecting with the breath here. Inhale, exhale. It doesn't really matter which one is the inhale and which one is the exhale, as long as you're not holding your breath here. Very good. Just a few more of these. Keep moving. All right, and then we're coming back up to standing. So we're doing one side at a time here, stepping into a lunge and coming back. Fairly simple. You can make this a smaller step, or you can not go down as far if it's not feeling great on your knee. You could also go a lot lower than I'm going here if that feels okay in your body. And then I'm just stepping to the side to stay on the frame of the camera, but for you at home, just transitioning to the other side. I don't know about you, but I tend to lose count when I do the second side, and I have no idea how many I did on the first side, so try to make it even as you're following along this video. All right, so we're done with those lunges.